it, Nigel. Then you should join in with him, would you? I'm going to say, I'm going to do some preaching today. Nigel, you go, and then you go, yeah. Okay, you ready? I'm going to do some preaching today. Denasia. Denasia.
Wake her up.
Give me a yeah.
You'll do both.
All right, Luke 4:18. Okay, this is something that, well, 18 begins actually, Jesus, when he was actually teaching out of the book of Isaiah, he began to teach these gracious words. And we want to talk a little bit about the redemption story here. And it is a great story. And Jesus was handed the scrolls this day when he was in the synagogue. And Jesus was a good teacher. You know, he was of the age, he had probably been teaching now for about a year or so. And he was popular with the people. And his wisdom that he had in the scriptures was something that they really appreciated. And so the scrolls was handed to him. Now the thing that we don't know is, I like to look at the little things that we don't really see in the scripture, is if the priest of the synagogue handed him the scriptures that pertain to Isaiah, or if he actually handed him just the scrolls and he had to find it. Now, what these scrolls was, these were papyrus scrolls, and these were like animal skins that had been sewn together. Some of these scrolls, and they were mounted on 2 sticks, and some of them was written on the front and the back, so you could flip it over and roll it, or flip it this way and roll it. Okay? Some of them were as long as 35, 40 feet long, written on both sides. So you would have to sit there and roll and roll and roll and roll and roll until you got to the area that you were wanting to look at. So the high priest at this point in time, he had read the law, whatever portion of the law that it was he was going to read and expound on. And then he selected Jesus to teach out of the prophets. And so Jesus taught out of Isaiah. Out of Isaiah, and I believe it's in 61, verses 1 and 2 in Isaiah. So Jesus rolled them scrolls up, and this is what he said. He said, "The Spirit of the Lord is on me, because he has anointed me to preach and proclaim the good news to the poor." He says, "He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight to the blind, to set the oppressed free, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor." Now we're going to talk about the year of the Lord's favor and how that they would have mistaken this. And it said, "Then he rolled up the scroll, gave it back to the attendant, and sat down." Preachers didn't stand back in that day, they sat down. Sitting was a place of authority in the church. They didn't stand like this, they sat. He began by saying, "Today, this scripture is fulfilled in your hearing." What gracious words that filled the air that day. And I want to talk about Luke 18 through 19 and 20 there, and what this really meant to us in this redemption story as Jesus began this off. So we're going to be there here in just a few minutes. Has anybody got any prayer requests they'd like to share with us today?